Hello and welcome back to Bold TV. I am, of course, your host, Philip Michael, and I got a very special guest here today, Robert Leonard. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing well, Philip. Thanks for having me.
All right, I want to get into this. There's a couple of things I want to talk about with you specifically. You created a podcast from scratch, became one of the biggest ones out there. And really, one of the things that I liked about that is you practically took your personal journey and then spread it out into the world, so to speak, with the insights you gain along the way, speaking to exciting people as you go along. What made you, number one, compelled you to actually start that?
It's just something I'm passionate about. I studied it for so long. I've had a little bit of success at a young age, and I wanted to show people that I'm not anything special. I don't have any special skills. I'm not, a super high IQ guy. I'm not, brilliant by any means. And I just wanted to show people that they can do it too, and I wanted to help teach them along the way.
There's a lot of people out there online that get rich quick influencers to say, you know what, you can have all these flashback cars, just buy my course and you're there. How simple is it to actually build wealth? And what is the number one tactic that you recommend for other people to start doing that?
So those are two different things. There's no such thing as get rich quick.
That's right.
And then there's simple wealth, right? So I think building wealth is simple. Mm-hmm. It's not easy, but it's simple. The principles, the ideas, the strategies that you need to follow to build wealth is simple. To actually put that into practice, it's a little bit harder. You need to have temperament. Behavioral finance becomes a component of it. Psychology starts to work against you a little bit. So that piece of it can be hard, but the strategies, the concepts, it's simple.
When you say it's simple and it's not easy, but it's simple, it's straightforward, what are some tactics? What are some strategies that you employ yourself and that you recommend for others?
Invest early, often, and for the long term. I mean, that's as simple as it is, right? You earn money, spend less than you earn, save the rest, and invest the difference. I mean, that's where everybody talks about that. That's how simple it can be. A lot of people, you talk about selling the courses, these get rich quick schemes, and there's money to be made in complexity. And that's why a lot of people make it seem complex, but really it's simple. Like I just explained, it can be that simple.
When you talk about spend less than you make, save the difference, and invest the difference. Invested in what? Is it in real estate? Do you go out there and buy a duplex? Do you put it into the stock market? What do you do?
Everybody's different. I mean, It's up to you, really. What are you comfortable with? What do you like? What do you believe in? So if somebody doesn't like real estate, doesn't understand real estate, has no interest in real estate, I'm not going to say go, buy rental properties, because that's not going to be right for you. You're not going to be able to maintain it. You're not going to be interested in it, and you're not going to invest for the long term, which is the main piece. You need to invest in things that you're going to be interested in and invest for the long term. So if you do want some real estate exposure, you could do it maybe through a REIT, through the stock market that way, so you don't have to worry about physical properties.
Right.
So really just think about what you like, what you understand, and then invest that way. For me, I love real estate and stocks, so I do a little bit of both.
Right. Talk us to, I happen to know this deal off camera, but what was the first deal, the house hacking you mentioned? What is that and how does it work?
So house hacking is, in its simplest form, in its general definition, is you buy a property and you rent out any space that you're not using. And so what that can mean is you could buy a single family house, say it has 4 or 5 bedrooms, maybe even 3, and you're only living in one of the bedrooms, rent out the other 2, 3, 4 bedrooms to friends, roommates, things like that. And say your mortgage is $1,000 and you have these people paying $400, $500, $600 per month for that bedroom. Now you're living for free, or you're possibly even making some money. Mm-hmm. So you could do it on a single family house like that, or you could buy a multi-unit building. You could buy a 2-unit, 3-unit, 4-unit, live in one of the units and rent out the additional units to reduce your mortgage or live for free. And I actually just closed on my 3rd house hack last week, and I bought a duplex, and I'm living in one of the units and I'm renting out the other.
Awesome. And you're living rent free in that?
Not completely rent free.
Okay.
I live in an expensive market, so it's hard to live rent free. But rather than my mortgage being $2,000, I'm living for like $600 or $700. So it's significantly less than it could have been.
If you were to rent and you have an asset that will go up in value.
Exactly.
What's the number one piece of advice you can give to people that come into 2021 after a rather cumbersome 2020? What is some piece of advice that you can give to someone as we turn a corner on 2020 and go into 2021? For somebody who wants to get started, what would you tell them? What's the number one piece of advice you can give them?
Number one piece of advice, hands down, by far, think long term.
When you say
It's
long term, 2 years, is that 5 years? Or you 10 years? What do you mean by
5, 10 plus years.
that? Okay.
You know, I was in a conversation on Twitter the other day, and somebody said, "What did you learn most, or what did you do this year that made you successful?" And I said I logged out of my brokerage account. And what I mean by that is I haven't looked at my stock account since, I don't know, March, and that's been 9 months, 10 months. I haven't looked at it because I'm long term. I'm worried about the next 5, 10 years. I don't really care what's happened. And if you look at stock charts, it's very volatile in the short term, but over the year, it's been great.
Over the long term, it goes up. Historically, it has. But when you get caught up in the in-between, you might get your short-term glasses on, like you say. So long term. Love that piece of advice. Thank you so much for being here, Robert.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you all for watching. Make sure you follow Bold TV on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Have a great day, and we're out of here.